I'm Dr. Harilal K.N. I belong to the Department of Homoeopathy, Kerala. I'm a Chief Medical Officer at Wayanad. Hat's method for selection of Genus Epidemicus in homeopathy. Introduction. Homeopathy remains a reliable and cost-effective preventive option since the accidental finding of homeopathic epidemic prophylaxis for scarlet fever in 1799 by its founder, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. He found that a remedy capable of quickly checking a disease in its onset must be its best preventive. The specific prophylactic remedy, as it is called. Genus Epidemicus is a suitable homeopathically adapted remedy for an epidemic. Operational definition. The genus Epidemicus is operationally defined as a homeopathic medicine developed after rapidization of the homeopathic working case definition constructed from a defined population for secondary level prevention of a communicable disease. Theoretical background. Genus Epidemicus is discussed in aphorism 102. It deals with mostly about the symptoms and as well as the collection of symptoms. In course of writing down symptoms of several cases, the disease picture becomes ever more and more complete. The general symptoms become precisely defined, and as to their peculiarities, the more marked and special symptoms peculiar to but few diseases of rare occurrences, at least in some combination, becomes prominent, constitute what is characteristic of this malady. Collection of symptoms. The totality of symptoms, which is essential for enabling us to choose most suitable homeopathic remedy, is obtained by the complete survey of the morbid picture. Cannot be learned from a single patient. Repertorization. Matching of symptoms and its severity is done to find a similar remedy from Intermedica or repertory. Repertory uses different gradations to grade each medicine against each symptom. Kent uses 1 to 3 and the synthesis Schroings uses 1 to 4. So the result could vary depending on the repertories used. Each symptom presents with varying severities in an epidemic, affecting large population. This gives room for assumptions during repertorization, leading to errors. So need and significance. The current practice of developing GE is associated with lots of confusion and criticism. The experimental bias influences the case-taking, analysis of symptoms, and repertorization. Objective is to develop a replicable method to select the genus Epidemicus. Design, exploratory design, universes control district, population dengue confirmed cases, sampling is purposive sampling, sample size was 70, inclusion criteria persons with NS1-AG positive, exclusion criteria persons with IgM, IgG positive, major illnesses, psychiatric illnesses. Tools, REACH, case-taking format. REACH is the rapid action epidemic control cell in homeopathy under Government of Kerala. Dengue fever diagnostic criteria, pain visual dialogue, analog scale Malayalam. Statistical analysis done using frequency and mean, symptom frequency and symptom grade intensity. Radar Opus 10 was used for repertorization. Procedure, the participants were instructed to grade each of their symptoms from 0 to 2. Convenient and content analysis was done and 24 symptoms were obtained. Frequency and grade intensities were calculated for each symptom. Mean intensity were calculated for each symptom. Frequency below 20 were excluded and remaining symptoms were taken for homeopathic working case definition. Method continues. Graph was plotted with frequency versus mean intensity. Graph was divided into 4 quadrants by lines at mean values of frequencies and mean of symptom grade intensity. Quadrants were named Q1, low frequency, low intensity, Q2, high frequency, low intensity, Q3, high frequency, high intensity, Q4, low frequency, high intensity. Representation was done based on SWCD. Medicines were differentiated on the basis of the symptoms Q3, Q2, Q4 and Q1 based on mirror result prioritization principle. The results obtained, we got 24 symptoms, its frequencies, gradations and some of the grade intensities are given. Fever had 65 respondents out of 70 and the total intensity is 190. Headache was reported by 58 people and the total intensity was 128. Myalgia was reported by 53 people and the total intensity was 92 and so on. The symptoms, its frequency percentages, intensities and mean intensity was calculated. Fever was represented by 92.85% of people and the mean intensity was 1.83. Headache was represented by reported by 82.85% of people, and the mean intensity was 2.20, myalgia was 53, and 75.7% of people, participants, and mean intensity was 1.73, and so on. These symptoms were taken, and the percentage of representation in frequent, that is the frequency in percentage, and the symptom grade intensities, its means, like the mean of the symptom intensity was taken and it was plotted as a graph, so that we could make out which symptom stands where, how intense is each symptom, how frequent is each symptom. 20% in any research, representations below 20% is discarded, so we had discarded symptoms below 20% of representation. Symptoms below 20% representation excluded, HWCD selected, and the 15 symptoms are got. Mean values were calculated. Mean frequency was calculated as 46.47, and mean intensity was calculated as 1.52. Another graph was plotted, and that the quadrant is divided into 4, that's Q1, Q2, Q3, based on the mean frequency and the mean intensity. HWCD for grading or representation, fever mean intensity was 1.83, from that grade was given as 2, headache was 2.20, the grade was given as 2, myalgia was 1.73 and the grade was given as 2, reduced appetite had a mean intensity 1 and it is taken as 1 for representation purpose, and so on. The result obtained is this, and from this the most important remedies were differentiated using the mirror Z principle, that's Q3, Q2, Q4. The most important high frequency, high intensity, high frequency, low intensity, low frequency, high intensity, and low frequency, low intensity quadrants. This displays where each symptom stays. What is the importance according to the frequency and intensity among the population. So putting up it in another chart, the Q2, Q3, Q4, which says the symptoms, which are the symptoms are those are most important in its order. Q2, and medicines were compared to its grades, Asal, Arnica, Aristox, Pulsarilla, and Axomica, and from that Asal was selected, proposed as the Genus Epidemicus. Based on the comparison, you can see that Asal covers all the Q2, Q3, Q4 symptoms. The only other remedy which covers is Naxomica, but probably it has all less number of and less intense markings. Then it comes Arnica. Arnica does not cover the bitter taste and things like that. So Asal was chosen as the Genus Epidemicus. So this is a method to develop or find out the Genus Epidemicus in without error, without anybody can replicate it. So conclusion is, as a replicable method for selection of G is developed. Limitations of representation was done. Representation done during using radar only. Cross verification with other repertories is not done. Method to minimize bias during rubric selection from repertory need to be evolved. The references and the acknowledgements to Dr. Bijukumar, DMO, Homeo Kannur, and Shajiman Beepset, Peter Convener of REACH, and Dr. N. Ramakrishnan, Joint Director, Economics and Statistics, Medical Officer Staff of Homoeopathy Department, participants of the research, Mr. Jitendra and Dr. Ragi Thomas, and members of research in homeopathy. Thank you.